Prudentiae, and I'm Molly Ghost. I'm the other captain. Today this is a really special event. We'd like to welcome lots of guests, starting with Sister Juliana, principal of GyeSeong Catholic Girls School in Seoul, Korea, and Sister Gabriel, instructor in GyeSeong Catholic Girls School in Seoul, Korea. They're going to say a few words, but will you please help me welcome our special guests?
안녕하십니까. 저는 한국의 서울 개성여자고등학교의 운영을 책임지고 있는 교장 심숙진 줄리아나 수녀입니다.
Good afternoon. I'm Sister Juliana, and I'm the principal of GyeSeong Girls School in Seoul, Korea.
먼저 저는 리버티 커먼 고등학교의 교직원 여러분들과 저희 학생들을 너그럽게 맞아주신 가족 여러분, 그리고 이 프로그램을 위해서 많은 노력을 기울이시고 저희를 따뜻하게 맞이해 주신 분들께 진심으로 감사드리고 싶습니다.
First, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to all of you, Mr. Bob Schaefer, and the staff and students of Liberty College, dear families who have invited our girls into their homes, and those who have worked hard for this program and warmly welcomed us.
미국은 우리나라와 1세기가 넘는 외교관계를 가지고 있습니다. 그리고 우리는 여러분의 나라를 아름다운 나라라는 뜻을 가진 미국이라는 말로 부릅니다. 두 나라의 관계가 이러한 호의를 바탕으로 이루어졌듯이 저는 기예성과 리버티 커먼 고등학교의 우정이 서로 다른 두 나라와 문화 사이에 유대를 더욱 굳게 하는 초석이 되기를 간절히 바랍니다.
The United States and Korea have had diplomatic relations for over a century, and from the onset, we called your country Migu, which means a beautiful country. As our relations started out on the basis of favorable impressions, I hope that this friendship between Liberty College and GyeSeong will serve as a foundation stone for the ever-growing bonds between two different countries and cultures.
다시 한번 뜻깊은 오늘의 예식에 저희를 초대해 주신 것과 특별히 이 자리에 오셔서 두 학교의 우정과 프로그램의 발전을 지지해 주신 많은 귀빈 여러분들께도 감사를 드립니다.
Once again, I'd like to say thank you all for having us here, and especially for those honored guests who have come to support our friendship through this memorable ceremony today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the students of Liberty Common High School, our house, Domus Prudentiae, is pleased to welcome our many special guests who are here today for this special ceremony and Lyceum presentation. Starting with welcoming Reverend Joseph Toledo, pastor of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic Church, Miss Andrea Heyman, Front Range Community College, Miss Stacy Rader, Colorado League of Charter Schools, Dr. Terry Croy Lewis, Colorado League of Charter Schools, Miss Laurel Van Maren, Liberty Common School founder, Dr. Randy Everett, Liberty Common School founder, Mr. Joel Goddell, Miss Denise Benz, Miss Paulette Hansen, Dr. Sarge Gill, members of the Liberty Common School Board of Directors, the Honorary Susan Katowski, member of the Poudre School District Board of Education, the Honorary Carolyn Reed, member of the Poudre School District Board of Education, the Honorable Kathy Kip, Chair of Poudre School District Board of Education, the Honorable Gino Campana, member of the Fort Collins City Council, the Honorable Wade Troxel, member of the Fort Collins City Council, Sheriff Justin Smith, Larimer County Sheriff, the Honorable Sue Sharkey, Regent of University of Colorado, visitors from James Irwin Charter Schools, Colorado Springs, and students from the GyeSeong School in Seoul, Korea. We'd like to welcome you. We'd now like to invite Sister Juliana and Sister Gabriel to sign the documents with Principal Schaefer. We'd now like to thank you for coming to our school and present these gifts to you. Okay, so now we would like to introduce our speaker, Regent Sharkey. University of Colorado Regent Sharkey has long been involved in leadership and business in the state and is a proud CU parent. She is the mother of 3 adult children, 2 of whom graduated from the University of Colorado in Boulder. A Republican, she was elected in 2010 to the CU Board of Regents to represent Colorado's 4th Congressional District. Her 6-year term ends in January 2017. Sharkey was elected Vice Chair for FY 2013 and re-elected for FY in 2014. Currently, Sharkey chairs the Capital Construction Subcommittee and is the Regent Representative to the CU Foundation Board. In 2012, she was instrumental in getting House Bill 1350, which extends resident student tuition to active duty military personnel and their dependents pursuing their education on CU campuses, passed by the Colorado legislature. Sharkey served as a delegate in the Republican National Convention in 2004 and 2008. Her other past leadership roles include President of the Larimer County Republican Women, Executive Board Member of the Laramie County Republicans, Member of the Larimer County Corps and Placement Board, Larimer County Co-Chair of the Women's Coalition for Victory campaign, and a Cub Scout leader. In 2008, she was chosen to participate in the leadership program of the Rockies, which develops, strengthens, and trains emerging leaders. Please help me welcome Regent Sharkey.
Thank you. I have to tell you on that list of things that I've done, being Cub Scout leader was by far the most challenging job. Trying to maintain 8-year-old boys is quite a trick. I want to thank Liberty Common High School, Mr. Schaefer, and the student body of Liberty Common for asking me to be here today and to speak. This is really quite a privilege and an honor. I've been looking forward to this very, very much. My daughter was a student at Liberty Common School through junior high, through 9th grade, and I sure wish this high school had been here when Jenna went off to high school. But this certainly gave her the strong foundation that furthered her education, not only in high school, but really through college. My daughter's now 26 years old, recently married and traveling around the world this year. So I'd like to start out by asking you to take a look at this picture. And as I'm speaking today, I hope you'll glance at that picture and give that photo some thought as you hear my words. This is a sculpture of Justitia, the Roman goddess of justice. Why I begin with this picture is because it reminds us that even though justice is vital, an important discussion right now in our society and world, it is not a new concept. And we have much we can learn from those who have thought about justice for centuries. As we look at the picture of Lady Justice, it makes sense to consider her key features and how they apply in a modern world. First, it's important that justice is a woman. The Romans believed that justice consisted of more than punishing those who had done wrong, but that justice also required showing mercy when it was due. While mercy is undoubtedly important, as a woman, I am pleased to share the same gender as Lady Justice. In the past decades, we've come to realize that a just society values and provides important rights to all of its members, no matter their gender, race, religion, or political persuasion. Each of us is entitled to hold our own opinions, receive the same legal protections, and take our place as a full member of society. Sadly, not all societies recognize this principle of equality, and we should never forget how fortunate we are to live in a society committed to equality. Nor should we hesitate to defend our society when attacked by those who do not share our commitment to the human spirit. At the same time, however, we should not confuse our commitment in the principles of equality with the belief that we always honor that commitment. When I was younger, I faced situations where my gender meant that I couldn't be promoted in the workplace. So I know that laws requiring people to be treated equally cannot be effective unless those charged with administering the law are committed to them in spirit, not just in writing. And being committed to equality in spirit necessarily requires us to be vigilant of being committed to being vigilant of them when we make decisions. Ask yourself, can we have a just society when people believe their opinions and voices either don't matter or aren't heard? Look around you and look at yourselves. If you want to live in a just society, do you embody that in how you treat others? And even in small ways when no one else would notice. Second, Lady Justice is blindfolded. She wears a blindfold because our justice system is founded upon the principle that is open to all. Rich, poor, black, Hispanic, white, male, female, gay, straight, everyone should be equal in the eyes of justice. What that is sometimes interpreted as meaning is that justice doesn't discriminate. And that statement should always be true when you are talking about a person's innate characteristics. What I would suggest to you, however, is that respect for all types of people and for every person's ability to hold their own opinions does not mean that you have to become a bystander in the debate. When you believe in something and have a passion for it, you should not wear a blindfold, but should in fact take a position and engage. Justice never fares well when citizens step back from the debate. Instead, justice demands that people participate in their society and participate in the difficult conversations that affect our lives. As a public official, I need to know how the decisions I make will affect the students who attend the University of Colorado. And I won't know unless I hear their voices. Which leads us to the third feature of Lady Justice, the scales that she carries. The scales are important because they signify that justice requires that we hear both sides of an issue and carefully evaluate the reasons for our decisions. Too often, We are tempted to turn away from those who hold beliefs that are contrary to our own. But we can make informed decisions only when we are willing to listen to others, challenge our own beliefs, and reach our own conclusions. One of the great judges to ever sit on the United States Supreme Court, Robert Jackson, once wrote that every person must be his own watchman for truth, because the forefathers did not trust any government to separate the true from the false for us. For us to expect justice from our society, and for us to provide justice when we have the opportunity to do so in our own lives, each of us bears the heavy burden of truly listening and weighing the consequences of our decisions. What this means for me, and what it must mean for you, is learning to hold judgment until you have received information and subjected it to critical examination. And through careful consideration, you will be able to make important and just decisions that will share your lives, as well as the lives of your family and the children you will someday parent. If your minds are closed to ideas, and you are unwilling to engage in a reasonable dialogue, you invite others to dismiss you and your ideas. Ultimately, I agree with Aristotle's maxim. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. And I encourage you to consider how you can best build the skills that will allow you to exercise good judgment. The fourth and final attribute of Lady Justice that I would ask you to consider is her sword. The sword is at rest, but it represents power. In the traditional sense, the judges in the criminal justice system have the power to send people to prison, take their money, or even in the most extreme circumstances, sentence those who have committed the most heinous crimes to death. Because that power is so great, those who possess it must exercise it with great caution. And in fact, our legal system is built upon the principle that all people are entitled to a full and fair opportunity to be heard. You are not exercising the same types of power, but I would suggest to you that you have more power to create justice than you might think. 100 years ago, women did not have the right to vote. 60 years ago, many African American students could not attend the same school as white children. Just over 20 years ago, business did not have to make any efforts to accommodate people with disabilities. And yet, for the progress we've made as a society, there are still great challenges ahead. And it's not going to be my generation that solves all of those challenges. To the contrary, we've always looked to young people to serve as the spark that ignites the flames of justice. When I served as an elected official, I welcomed the passion of the University of Colorado's students as they try to make the world a better and just place, recognizing that you possess that power and committing yourselves to using it responsibly will make you better people and the communities in which you live places where justice prevails. And I'd like to share with you a more personal story about something that I was very passionate about. Before I became a regent at the University of Colorado, I had two of my three kids that went to college. Both had experienced discrimination. It was based upon their political beliefs and their political philosophy. And it was just wrong. But as a parent, I felt helpless. My sons, they felt helpless too, with their professors who had the power of giving them a grade. When I became a regent, I was finally in a position where I didn't feel so powerless and where I felt like I could make a difference and I could help those students, like my sons, who had felt that discrimination based upon their political philosophy and affiliation. So 2 years ago, I initiated a resolution that was ultimately passed at the University of Colorado. And this resolution states in our non-discrimination and harassment policy that you cannot discriminate based upon your political philosophy and affiliation. Now that policy goes right into the non-discrimination policy that identifies non-discrimination based upon race and gender and religion and so forth. It doesn't seem that that should be such a big deal, but I will tell you in higher education, this was groundbreaking. I don't believe that there's any other public university in the country that has added that to their actual non-discrimination policy. Now, this was something I felt passionate about. It had hit in our own home with my own children. But as a regent, I'd also heard stories from not only students, but from faculty. They too had felt discriminated against. And while these stories weren't many, a few is unacceptable. And so it became apparent to me that I had to take this opportunity to be a person of influence, to be a leader, to make change. I serve on the Board of Regents. There are 9 of us who serve on our board. There are 5 Republicans and 4 Democrats. When I proposed this to my colleagues, not all embraced what I was about to do. Not my Republican colleagues, nor my Democrat colleagues. And I spent months in conversations with all of them, discussing why I believed that this was important. And this was the respectful dialogue that is needed to get something, I believe, accomplished. It wasn't putting up the wall and just saying, I'm absolutely right, but again, listening to their ideas. And I appreciated so much that they were willing to listen to my thoughts and my ideas. And not only did they vote with me, but they embraced this whole resolution. They've embraced it and they've been proudly talking about it. And I'm very happy about that. There's a gentleman who I'm sure many of you haven't heard of, but he's somebody I've looked up to in my past, and that's David Horowitz. And David Horowitz is a man who's been a champion for the Academic Bill of Rights. And although I don't know him or didn't know him, I knew of his work and of his passion. And I had somebody that I could go to, and I asked David, I called him, and I can tell you my heart was pounding because this was somebody I really looked up to, and I didn't know he would take my call, but he did. And I asked David for his advice, his opinion, what should I do? How should I go forward with this? And he very quickly told me, don't do it. Do not do this. And not because, Sue, I don't agree with what you're trying to do, but because they will come after you. This, as an elected official, he said they are going to come after you. Well, I decided after that phone call, I didn't want to talk with David Horowitz again. And so, months later, after this was done, I received an email from David Horowitz. And he started it by saying I was wrong. I was very wrong, and I'm glad I was. He then asked me to come to Florida to what he calls a restoration weekend. And he honored me with an Annie Taylor Award. The Annie Taylor Award is an award for courage. And Annie Taylor was the first person to go over Niagara Falls in a wooden barrel and survive. She survived against all odds. And so David Horowitz honored me with that award. And if I do nothing else in my remaining time at the University of Seoul, that will be my proudest achievement. And so just for a mom, that's what I've done. I've been a mom. I've been involved. I've been engaged. But my most important job has always been as a mom, raising up my children to share those principles and those values. And I hope today that y'all can come away with some of that fire in you, that spark to get out there, whatever your passion may be in life. Pursue it. And pursue the whole idea of justice and what this country was founded on. Thank you very much.
Does anybody have any questions for Regent Sue Sharkey? Guests, do you have any questions? Yeah, thank you
very much.
As a token of our gratitude for you speaking, and thank you for talking to us about justice, we'd like to challenge you to continue showing justice in our community and our education. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Sharkey. That was wonderful. And thank you to all of our guests for being here. It's such an honor to have our new sister school in our presence and in our midst today. I have the opportunity to celebrate something with all of our guests and our students today. Yesterday, we received notification from the National Merit Scholarship Corporation that we have 5 National Merit Scholarship finalists in our midst. As many of you know, 16,000 students, approximately 1/3 of the 50,000 high scorers on the PSAT, were notified last September that they qualified as semifinalists in the National Merit Scholarship Program. The PSAT, for those of you who don't know, is the preliminary SAT and the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test taken in the junior year. Semifinalists are designated on a state representational basis. They're the highest scoring entrants in each state. To be considered for a National Merit Scholarship, semifinalists must advance to final standing in the competition. The National Merit Scholarship Program has now determined which of the 16,000 semifinalists named in September 2014 have met all the requirements to advance to finalist standing in the competition. All finalists will be considered now for the National Merit Scholarships to be offered in 2015. On behalf of the National Merit Scholarship Program and Liberty Common High School, it is with great pleasure that I present a Certificate of Merit to the following National Merit Scholarship finalists. Mr. Nicholas Hoyer. Miss Teresa Huggy. Mr. Alexander Iverson. Miss Kayla Rose. And Miss Elizabeth Riley. Congratulations to our distinguished scholars.
You want me first? For the purposes of our guests in the house, I'll just explain a little bit about our capstone and foundation stone award winners. Once per character education assembly, we like to recognize outstanding character among the student body. We have a robust character education program here at Liberty Common High School, and we celebrate 6 capstones: justice, fortitude, temperance, prudence, gratitude, and patriotism. Those are our 6 capstone virtues that we celebrate here, and we talk a lot about, so much so that we named our houses after our capstone virtues. We hold assemblies, we bring guest speakers in, and we celebrate these in the classroom through examples in literature, through examples in history. We celebrate these in our instructing staff, in our instructors, and our faculty, and look to model these capstones for our students. And we take it really seriously, and we have high expectations on the student body. Students, would you say that true? Would you say that that's true, that there are high expectations on you as far as behavior goes? Absolutely. And I have to tell you, you do an excellent job meeting those, meeting our expectations, and we appreciate you a lot. We do monitor behavior very closely, and we have a system where we keep track of students when they are not behaving well. But then we also look to catch students doing something right. And so once per character education assembly, we recognize a junior high student from among our junior high student body who, on a consistent basis, demonstrates excellent character according to our foundation stones at the elementary school and our capstones here as they're in transition to high school. And then we recognize one student from among our high school student body for demonstrating excellent character on a consistent, regular basis with 3 or more capstones. And so today we have the honor of recognizing 2 students, and I'm going to present the award to our foundation stone winner, one of our junior high students among the junior high student body. These students win a nice certificate to take home and give their parents. They also win a Qdoba gift card. They win some TCBY. They get a nice patch. So there is a little bit of tangible benefit as well as inherent benefit of being recognized among the student body for displaying character. So, without further ado, our Foundation Stone Award winner. It's been an honor to get to know this young student over the last 2 years, so it is an 8th grade student amongst you. And my first interaction with this individual was with the canned food drive last year. We do a canned food drive every year, and this young man went door to door collecting cans, knocking on people's doors for cans. This year, he organized a bunch of students to go stand outside of King Soopers, out in the public, and just asked for donations as people were leaving grocery shopping. And more than that, he demonstrates an incredible amount of integrity. He's responsible with his coursework. He's polite and respectful towards authority. And again, his sense of citizenship is in our community is second to none. He's leading the effort with our Penny Wars this year. Has founded a charity for us to donate our proceeds to. You'll hear more about that a little bit later. And so I'd like to have Cole Cottle please come up here.
So I'm going to let Ms. Ellis say more. But, okay.
Let the bell ring, just stay right there.
Okay, stay right here if the bell goes. Okay, I just want to say this student we all the teaching staff has selected. I am grateful that this person is part of my life. In the school, gratitude is one of the words that comes to mind whenever I think of her, because there have been days that all of us teachers struggle, and then you think, am I doing this right? And then here she comes and
tells you that this is what you love and reminds you why you love it. So I'm going to let Ms. Ellis tell you more about her.
So I also want to mention my gratitude for the student, and also we're just in awe. Note that she is the first underclassman ever to receive the Capstone Award. It has since, up until this point, gone to a senior, because seniors tend to exhibit a level of wisdom because they have practiced, and they have suffered, and they have traveled, and they have earned the wisdom and the gratitude for this education, and they can see where it can take them. And this person is very special in that she is an underclassman and she can grasp it. She has a sense of wisdom. So much so this might be a Keystone Award. You can't just pin down one of, or even three of the capstones that she exhibits. The Capstone Award for this character assembly goes to Erin Mallory.
Okay guys, thank you for coming to this assembly. Domus Prudentiae, sorry